Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Advanced, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, and entertainment. And we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, we got one for you guys here today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. And be sure to follow me on Instagram. My handle is CTABANZ. So as you guys know, a lot is going on in the NBA right now. A lot is going on in terms of this scandal. As a matter of fact, as we're preparing to, as I was preparing to do this particular show here, we just got an update from Yahoo Sports. It just popped up on my screen as it pertains to Chauncey Billups, right? And it says, breaking, Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups pleaded not guilty to charges of wire fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering conspiracy on Monday during his appearance at a federal courthouse in Brooklyn. Billups has been accused of being a face card in a scheme that helped lure players to illegal poker games that tricked victims out of millions of dollars. All charges carry a maximum punishment of 20 years in prison if convicted. So that's the update, right? So as I was going through the internet here, I came across a report here from ESPN. And it was an article published by Brian Windhorst. Now, if you guys know anything about Brian Windhorst, he's a longtime supporter of LeBron James, never hesitated to twerk it up when he had an opportunity on ESPN to do so. So I was absolutely floored to see him publish this article where he's essentially linking LeBron James and Damon Jones. Not that LeBron had any wrongdoing, but linking them in terms of their friendship, right? And how close they were. And I'm sitting like, really, Brian is doing this. But actually what we want to do before we even get into what Brian had to say, we want to give you guys a quick summation of where we are in this case with Damon Jones, because ESPN just dropped a video where they basically explained everything that's going on thus far, and Damon Jones just recently pleading not guilty to the charges. So take a listen to this quick update here, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to this here quickly.
Breaking news in a Sports Center, former NBA player and coach Damon Jones pled not guilty to wire fraud and money laundering charges in a Brooklyn court today after being arrested in the FBI gambling sting last month. He was released on a $200,000 bond. He is accused of providing privileged NBA information for bets and for taking part in rigged poker games. We now welcome in ABC News Chief's investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, who was in the courtroom when Jones pled not guilty. Aaron, can you describe exactly what you saw?
Yeah, he's still inside. In fact, Damon Jones sat in a courtroom with his attorney, Kenneth Montgomery, pleading not guilty to those conspiracy charges that each come with a potential penalty of 10 to 20 years in prison. It was a very quick arraignment on the first case, the one charging him with luring unsuspecting poker players to rigged tables. The gambling apparatus was allegedly altered. The shuffling machines were rigged. There was a table where you could see through to the cards. And according to the indictment, Damon Jones used his celebrity to lure these players that were eventually defrauded out of millions. He pleaded not guilty to the conspiracy charges associated with that case. And now he's in a separate courtroom to plead guilty to conspiracy charges related to the sports betting allegations, in which he's accused of tipping off sports bettors that LeBron James wasn't going to play in a Lakers game against the Milwaukee Bucks back in February of 2023. He's going to walk out of court, released on a $200,000 bond secured by his parents, putting up their Houston home as collateral. And Christine, federal prosecutors revealed during the hearing that he is engaging in plea talks, so it's possible that he will arrange to plead guilty to all or some of the indictment and avoid going to trial, but that may be a ways off.
Okay, so certainly more to come in the future. Aaron, thank you. For more, let's bring in ESPN legal analyst Ryan Smith. So based off of what occurred in the courtroom, what are the next steps moving forward?
So right now, it's all about starting the clock for this case to begin. So you talk about things like discovery, which is the most important part of this. We've seen, a lot of people have seen the indictment, the accusations that Jones is facing, but there's so much more information, evidence the government has. They have to turn that over, and the defense turns over what it has. Also, status conferences, soon to set a trial date, and there will be motions filed. His side might try to file a motion to dismiss, a motion to suppress evidence, things that help him as they proceed to a trial. Now, Aaron talked about discussions happening. That does happen as part of this, but we'll have to see where that goes. But all of this is really about discovery at this point. Get the information the government has and move forward, and eventually soon set a trial date.
And those are those plea discussions that he was talking about, correct, with Aaron?
Yeah, the plea discussions are interesting because it's not even so much a plea deal, it's a proffer, which means essentially he would, if this is what's happening, he goes in, if he agrees to, he tells them everything he knows. If you play this out and he decides to go this route, he would plead guilty. And then because he gave this information, prosecutors would then reach out to the judge sentencing him saying lessen his sentence. But that's a ways off. It said Aaron was talking about how they might be having some of these discussions. Yeah. So it's very early days.
Excellent. So let's continue on with the article. Now I want to just get to the key parts, right? It says if you pass through the Cleveland Cavaliers players parking lot during the 2006-07 season, you almost certainly would notice LeBron James's Ferrari in Silverstone paint, but you'd also likely have noticed a customized Mercedes-Benz with the license plate 4.8. That was Damon Jones's car as a member of the Cleveland Cavaliers from 05 to 08. Jones owned and drove beautiful cars, wore eye-catching suits, often with animal print he jokingly claimed were real, and talked endless trash. The specialized license plate was a reference to the time left on the clock when Jones made the biggest shot of his career, an overtime jumper on May 5, 2006, to seal a Game 6 and first round series win over the Washington Wizards. It was the Cavs' first playoff series win in 13 years. Right now, I'm going to move a little bit further. It says you could dunk on him, play cards with him, make fun of him, and laugh with him. And on the floor, you could pass him, and there was a good chance he would make the shot. It was a perfect recipe to be a sidekick shooter and off-court companion, and it was why he made friends with plenty of teammates along the way, including stars such as James, Shaquille O'Neal, and fellow defendant in a federal gambling case, Chauncey Billups. I want to move on a little bit further. It says, last month, Jones was indicted for conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Prosecutors allege he leaked non-public information to sports bettors when he was a voluntary member of the Los Angeles Lakers coaching staff in 2023, and in a separate but related case with participating in a mafia-tied scheme to run rigged poker games. He pleaded not guilty to both accounts on November 8th. There are probably some people out there pretty worried about Damon Jones right now. A longtime league executive who used to have Jones on his roster said he has nothing to lose and nothing to bargain with other than rolling over on other people. The two federal cases indicted 34 people, and prosecutors said their investigation would continue and possibly expand. There is still two unnamed conspirators in the case that are described as former NBA players. Jones made more than $21 million in his NBA career, but people around him suspect he spent it nearly as quickly as he made it. Jones' shooting exploits and personality got him coaching and media opportunities. He worked as a shooting consultant and then as an assistant coach with the Cavs and their G League affiliate, the Canton Charge. From 2014 to 2018, including their 2016 championship team, he appeared on television as well, including ESPN. His penchant for overspending never dimmed either. Despite no longer earning an NBA salary, multiple friends and former co-workers say Jones routinely asked them for loans after his playing career had ended. During his time as a coach in Cleveland, Jones often stayed in guest rooms of another team's coaching staff, sources said. Honestly, I started to try to avoid him, one former NBA player said, because I didn't want to have money conversations. And then continues on. Said another longtime friend, my wife and I came to a decision that I had to stop taking his calls and returning his texts a couple of years ago. We'd reached the end of the line over money. Between 2013 and 2024, Jones declared bankruptcy twice, was sued at least 4 times for unpaid personal loans, and twice had a management company in Houston file eviction notices against him, according to NBC News. Jones and his wife first filed bankruptcy in 2014. In court filings, he listed a $10,000 Nike endorsement as the only income in 6 months and said that he and his family had $200 in cash, less than $300 in the bank account, and roughly $2,400 in an IRA. That case was dismissed. 2 years later, when Jones and his wife filed bankruptcy again, they reported it in court and said that they had $50 in cash and less than $50 in the bank. That case too was dismissed. Jones was then employed as a shooting consultant by the Cavs when he made about $4,000 a month. Jones and his wife, according to records, owed creditors $644,000. Some of Jones's biggest debts, according to the records, were an $86,000 car loan on a Mercedes and a $47,000 to the Bellagio Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, where Jones was known to frequent in NBA seasons. In one personal loan case, Jones reportedly used his Cavs 2016 championship ring as collateral. Earlier last month, Jones's mother and stepfather pledged their house in Houston to secure his $200,000 bond. It then gets here. It then says, Jones did maintain on and off friendships with James for years after they were teammates in Cleveland. Known for having a tight circle, James typically is very selective about whom he lets in. Jones was on the Cavs from 2005 to 08, unofficially as a part of the Lakers staff in the 2023 season, ostensibly because of James's comfort level with him. LeBron is very into routines, one former Lakers staff said. For a while, shooting with D. Jones was part of his routine. Jones routinely traveled with the Lakers, attended practices, and had access to the locker room and training room, sources told ESPN. And it was his custom. He apparently gambled with them as well. One of the traits of the Lakers team the year Jones was on his staff, the Los Angeles Times reported in 2003, was their freeze gesture made after hitting big three-pointers, which stemmed from an inside joke involving Jones's antics and when he won a big hand playing cards. The indictment said the FBI found evidence that Jones sold information about the Lakers' player availability to gamblers in both 2023 and 24. The indictment doesn't reveal which players were involved, but the details suggest that James's one-time and then Laker teammate Anthony Davis the other. In the court documents, the prosecutors say the FBI uncovered a text message from Jones to one of the gamblers in which he encountered a big bet on the Milwaukee Bucks in a game in which, and then the article then goes on to say a few other things there. Here are my thoughts about this. That was a bit long-winded. Here are my thoughts about this. LeBron James hasn't been accused of any wrongdoing whatsoever. But make no mistake about it, he's the biggest name out here. I'm surprised that Brian Windhorst would even write an article linking these two guys' names together. I'm surprised. And the reason I'm surprised is because Windhorst has been such a huge supporter of LeBron. So I'm sitting here asking myself, what changed? What changed? He's been such a huge proponent of his. What changed? Why all of a sudden you're doing this now? I mean, seriously. Could it be because LeBron went on the Pat McAfee show and trashed Brian Windhorst and tried to embarrass him and basically make it look like he's a stalker? Could Brian Windhorst be having bad blood about it? Whatever it is, whenever you spit in the face of people, especially people that have been loyal to you, they tend to lose that sense of loyalty that they once had to you. Right? I'm surprised that Brian Windhorst wrote this. Now, some people could say he's doing his job. Yes. But much of his job has also been up there to twerk it up for LeBron. And he has done that. And you got to hand it to him. Brian was even gracious after LeBron made those comments on ESPN. The person that actually defended him stronger was Stephen A. Smith. Brian Windhorst just kind of played it off. But I bet you he was shocked by it. But to keep linking his name to this guy, y'all let me know what y'all think about it. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. I'm out. Peace.